morning and welcome to another exciting episode of Extraordinary Ordinary Women. I'm Margarita and Mindset Matters. And I'm excited to be here sharing with you stories of ordinary women who have had a passion, a dream, a goal, and have followed it through to fruition. Their stories will encourage you, uplift you, and hopefully ignite the seeds of greatness within you. I found this for myself when my life turned upside down and inside out. And so it is my gift to those women to be able to pay forward the gift of encouragement to others. So without further ado, it gives me great pleasure to introduce you to the amazing Amanda Challen and her incredible young horse. Look how tall he is, Spartan. Amanda, thank you so much for your generosity of time. Our first interview, I don't know, it's lost out there in cyberspace, but this is lovely to have Spartan join us today.
That's it. Spartan must have stolen it, I think, so that way he could be on video this time.
There you go. So, Amanda, I first met you probably 9 years ago now because my Sapphire is turning 9. And we met at a mutual friend's place who owned the stallion who sired your mare and my mare. So from small beginnings, you then went forth into this jousting. So tell us, please, what sparked the passion to do this? Because you look everybody in that tournament or the tournaments look absolutely amazing because your attention to detail is amazing. I'm so excited.
Always, baby horses, always good fun. So I got into that through, Fenris, so our horse's dad, through Talisian, because she was saying when Nixie was almost 5 that they were starting to look for some more horses to train up for jousting. And so she asked if Nix might be interested. I said, I'm not sure, we can give it a go. And because I didn't know much about it then. And it was like that she'd been born into it, really, because her dad used to do it as well, as we know. And then, so that was back in 2015. And then 2016, they start putting me in armour and the rest is history. Yeah, you'll be a future jousting horse like your dad. Yes, good boy. You're cheeky.
And I recall what attracted me to Fenris was he was being adjusted next door on the property next door. And when I was speaking with Talisian, she said, it was talking about the jousting and how he had done an ad on the top of a building. And she said, all I had to do was feed him carrots and the helicopter just kept going up and down, and just, he was happy so long as he had his carrots. And I thought, wow, that's a good sign.
Anything for food, yep.
So, Talisian, there are challenges with whatever major undertaking a person does take on. What were the challenges that you faced?
Oh, yeah, really, like with me, like it was getting the armour together in general, because of course it's not something you can just buy off the shelf. And it's certainly not cheap either, because it needs to protect you from you're running at each other on about 500-600 kilos worth of horse with a 12-foot lance, cantering or galloping at each other and hitting each other. So it's like being in a car crash, really.
Oh wow!
So you need to make sure
more.
That's it. All while looking through like what feels like a letterbox. So
wow.
So you definitely need a good partnership with your horse, that's for sure.
Yes, absolutely.
Yes. Oh yeah,
so
yes. That'll be you in a few years, Bubba. Yes. Cheeky boy.
So the armour is personally made for you?
Yes, so the armour that I wear now is made for me. The armour that I first started out in, so some of it was secondhand, some of it was the cheaper kind of. This kind of fits some people and not others. Yes. Just to get me started with the basic stuff. But now Luke Binks makes my armour, and he also trains me in jousting as well. So it will actually be good for going all the way through to actual historical solid jousting if I want to go that way as well.
Wow.
And it's all made for me.
Yes. I remember Talisian saying that she actually competed overseas. She didn't take the horse because of the expense, but competed
Yes.
in jousting overseas, which is just incredible. So you
Yeah,
mentioned,
it's amazing. Yeah.
yes,
I haven't had the chance to go overseas yet, but I'm hoping that that'll be a thing in the next few years.
good. That's down the pipeline. That's excellent. So
Yeah.
Talisian, it's like every major goal that's achieved, you would have a team of people behind you, wouldn't you?
Oh yes, yes. So the night is only the very tiny part of it. So there's so many people in from teaching and everything, but also the main thing is all our ground crew. So the squires that get us ready, the grooms that get the horses ready, the ground crew out on the field that get the lances prepped and handed up and and then if there's any accidents happen, there's the right crew there. There's the ones that are also scoring the jousting as well. So for a tournament, even if you only have 4 or 6 nights, you probably need a crew of about 30 odd people on the ground to get us to do that.
Right. So do you have your personal crew, or is it like a club and people volunteer to do certain jobs?
Bit of both. So usually where possible, you try and have your own squire and your own groom for your horse, but it's not always able to have your own team with that, like especially with the traveling, because not everybody can afford to do that either. But you'll find that most of us will help each other out. So even like if I wasn't jousting this session, I'd still go out and help everybody that's out in the field. So do the ground crew work as well.
Right.
So yeah, I like to help out everywhere I can, as most of us do as well anyway.
Yes. So you mentioned traveling. You do actually travel, because I saw a tournament, a medieval tournament at Orange, and then you also traveled to Victoria.
Yes, yeah. So I live up here on the north side of Brisbane in Queensland, of course. So I'm there, and we've travelled to Orange and St Ives. I've trained down in Tarago as well. And I've also competed down at Cryle Castle at Ballarat.
And that's
And I've
beautiful, isn't
also
it? Yes.
It is absolutely gorgeous. And then I've also helped ground crew at a lot of different events all up and down the place as well.
Right.
So it's very important to be able to have a go at a bit of everything. So you're not just coming in straight on top. You've got to actually work your way up as well.
Right. Now, when I was at Orange and saw the tournament, I noticed your lances are very, very long, and that they were able to break not in half, but most of the time there was a portion of it that was designed to be broken off so that you weren't replacing the whole lance. Can you talk to us about that?
Yeah. So in the end, the whole lance itself ends up being about 12 foot long. So it's usually on average about 9 foot of pine for the handle with a metal socket. Then there's 3 foot of balsa on the end. So ideally it's the balsa that breaks, because it's much easier to break than the pine itself.
Yes.
Sometimes when the hits are that big that you will actually break the whole entire thing. And you certainly know about that when that happens.
So do you ever fall off?
I have been knocked off a couple of times. It takes a lot to move me out of the saddle, I can tell you that. But sometimes that angle of the lance is just right, just to get you up and over the other side of the horse. And I've managed to knock my first rider off just in July as well. So that was something pretty epic.
So
It just
when
happened to be
you
is that it hit. Yep.
keep going.
I say it's kind of like you hit just that sweet spot on the shield that it's just enough just to throw that balance off to knock them off the other side usually.
Right. So when you fall, I imagine you don't get up very quickly and easily.
No, like I know I definitely can't get off the ground by myself. You kind of feel a little bit like a turtle on their back sometimes.
Right.
It takes a fair bit of practice to work out how to get up off the ground, because you're wearing about 40 kilos of spring steel on average.
That was my next question. Yes. Yes. So when I spoke with you at Orange, I held your helmet. How much does that weigh? That was just the helmet. The headpiece was so heavy.
Yeah, so they're usually about 8 to 10 kilos worth by itself, because you've got to protect your head.
Yes.
Head and chest are the main spots to really make sure that that's protected properly.
And the horses are also decorated, aren't they? And often with the
Yes.
protective shields on their faces.
Yeah. Yeah. So most of them will wear a caparison, which is what looks like a rug to wear, and that's got the knight's heraldry on it. So you the color, so you can look and go, oh yeah, that's Lady Amanda. That's Sir Luke, that's Sir Phil, blah blah blah. So it's really easy to spot from a distance, especially once your helm's on, because you can't see who's who that way. And then on their faces, they've got what's called a chamfron, which is the metal faceplate, really. That's just to protect them from any bits flying around. And with a lot of the competitions, we usually use some eye protection as well, which is just like mesh cups that are made out of wire or metal that goes over their eyes with a mask underneath that, and it just protects their eyes. So therefore, no bits of balsa and things should go into their eyes at all.
Right.
It looks like fly screen, but in a cup shape. So they look a bit like bug eyes, really.
So, Amanda, we listened to some of the challenges. What are a couple of the rewards? I can see by the smile on your face, it's obviously one big reward, but what would you pinpoint as a couple of rewards in this?
So I love the partnership between my horse and I. I mean, like obviously, like when you're traveling overseas and things like that, you don't get to take your own horse. It's a little bit expensive, and obviously they got to go in quarantine and stuff like that. So it takes a lot to obviously ride a horse that you don't know, because once that helmet and everything's on, you can't actually see any part of your horse. So it's all done by feel, and you've got to be able to trust each other to get the job done. So that's a nice challenge, that one, and my goodness, you feel good afterwards when you get it all together. So pretty much the horse is your legs. And then just really getting the crowd involved and encourage them to ask all the questions and try and show them what it was all about back in the day.
Yes. Well, I certainly enjoyed being there at the medieval festival at Orange. And I imagine you mentioned the partnership between you and your horse. If you're carrying that 12-foot lance and the reins in the other hand, there's a lot of concentration there, and you do have to have that partnership with your horse, don't you?
That's for sure, yeah. So you've only got your left hand on the reins to talk to the horse. And like obviously you're using your seat and legs mostly for the horse, and the hand's just there. And then your right hand is the one that holds the lance and comes in to hit the other person and bring the lance up. So it's all just getting all that into the correct timing and safely. So you're not allowed to hit anyone below the waist, of course, because that's out of bounds for safety reasons, if nothing else. But really, you want to just aim for that shield on their left shoulder, and that's your sweet spot there anyway, the easiest place to break your lance.
And you're actually galloping down towards each other, aren't you?
Yep. Canter or gallop, and off we go, yes.
Well, I thoroughly enjoyed watching you, and I thoroughly enjoy your posts on Facebook, and just thank you very much, Amanda, for joining us again today for this second interview. I really appreciate that. And
yes, it's talking to you too. Yes. But yeah, so Spartan will be my future up and coming jousting horse. His dad actually jousts down at Cryle Castle as well, so he's going to follow in his hoof prints as well. The Mighty Valiant. Hey, so yes. You're a big stook, aren't you, buddy?
Thank you again, Amanda.
No problem at all.